What's going on, viewers of Student Spotlight? I'm back here again, super excited. A little bit of a heartfelt episode here, I like to say, because back when I was a freshman here on campus, I went to orientation. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But Glenn was my orientation leader, one of the first people I met here on Dean College. So that's awesome. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. This is very sentimental to my heart. So, definitely. So my first question for you is, other than being an orientation leader, what else do you do here on campus?
Big list, trying to prioritize. So I'm the president of the Collaborative Authors League, which is kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons club. I'm part of the Black Student Union. I'm also part of the Speakeasies Improv Troupe. I have a little bit of experience as a first-year mentor with the communications students, and I am part of DNN. Also, I'm on the pamphlets as well.
Oh.
I like to point that out for my mom.
Definitely a lot there. It's all right that you forgot one. I'll give you the pass.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome. So that's a lot of clubs, and that can be really stressful for a student. So how do you kind of manage all of those clubs?
I think it kind of boils down to, like you said, time management. When I was a freshman and sophomore, I had a little more trouble with it because you're kind of trying to figure out how to balance your classwork, your social life, stuff like that. But as I've continued to go through my years, it's kind of just prioritizing. And some weeks, you know, you have to miss a meeting, stuff like that. But just figuring out what are the things you really want to do and how can you help everybody around you. That's really it.
Definitely. I think that's good to be organized as well as prioritized. It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what drew you to Dean College? Because there's a lot of great colleges out there in the world. So what drew you to Dean?
I think I first came for a tour of Dean my senior year. I came with my aunt, who is she's an admissions counselor at another school, and she just kind of wanted me to get a feel for big schools versus little schools, stuff like that. And something about Dean was the atmosphere kind of felt homely to me. It was just something that felt right, and once I came for orientation, almost immediately it just clicked. I kind of settled in. I was like, this is the place I need to be. And my sophomore year, I actually transferred out of Dean, but the school I had ended up going to, it just didn't have the same feel. It wasn't really like the right place in my heart, so I ended up coming back, and now I'm here for good.
That's awesome. We're glad to keep you here for one more year because you're a senior and you're going to graduate
Yes,
soon.
yeah, scary thoughts, but.
Definitely scary. Do you have any plans outside of Dean afterwards, or not really worried about that?
So right now, this is something my mom and I were talking about a couple of minutes ago, actually. I would like to do something with public relations. That's kind of my focus in communications, but I also love broadcast journalism. So I'm looking into a couple more internships and also just some programs that I'm looking into applying for. One of the big ones is in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where I'm from. There's a branch called EdTV, and essentially what they do is they go into elementary and middle schools and they teach kids how to use film equipment, cameras, be on-air talent, stuff like that. So I'd love to work for them. That's kind of like my main thing right now, but branching after that, who knows?
Exactly, and you don't need to know right now. That's the cool thing.
That's true.
I mean, you know, we're still young. We're trying to figure it out. So outside of kind of the school and kind of stuff that we've talked about, who are you as a person? What are some of the things you like to do outside of schoolwork?
When I have time, my favorite thing I think to do is read. Just from like a young age, my mom and my aunt always instilled in me that it's such an important thing to do. So I try and read a book one book every 1 to 2 weeks. Apart from that, I really enjoy, I was saying earlier, Dungeons and Dragons, like my biggest hobby. Yeah. I love beatboxing. I was part of an a cappella group in high school. I haven't had the opportunity to do anything like that in college, but it's still something I try and keep up with. And I really love watching documentaries. Just a weird thing. I don't know. I love them.
That's certainly interesting, but I want to tie it back to you in a second.
Okay.
I'm going to give you your first chance here to beatbox. I want to hear you beatbox. Can we hear something?
Yeah, all right. That's cool. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so all I'm going to need from you is like an adjective. Something to kind of base it off.
Spicy.
Spicy. All right.
I think that was a round of applause. Wow, that was awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Better than what I could do. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. Cause
it's all practice. It's all practice.
So what made you drawn to beatboxing?
So I think it was my sophomore year of high school. I really wasn't into any clubs or anything like that, and I just kind of wanted to get involved. And I was taking a music history course. And the teacher one day after class was like, Glenn, you should try out for one of the a cappella groups. I think you'd be like a really good tenor. I was like, I have no idea what that means. But I went anyway just to try it, and I ended up falling in love with that. It's just such a cool world, the way they make music, you know what I mean? There's no instruments, anything like that. So kind of watching some of my friends in the group start beatboxing, I was like, oh, that's a part of it. That's really cool. And I was like, can you teach me? And one of my friends just gave me kind of a little bit of the introductory boots and cats, you know, type talk. And then from there, I started going home, watching YouTube videos, just kind of experimenting myself. And now it's just something I do like every day.
That's awesome. I think that's really cool to have a passion like that and really
Thank
pursue it. And that's a pretty good performance.
I appreciate it.
I know I kind of have a couple more personal questions here for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
I also know you're part of the, I might say this wrong, the Hispanic American Society?
Yes, yeah. So essentially what that is, it's a nonprofit organization. Essentially, it's all around America. And it's just for representing Latinx people that are maybe marginalized or are living under the poverty line, things like that. And essentially what they do is they raise money for people like that. So I come from a family that is Puerto Rican on my father's side, and I have seen a lot of the social and economic issues that come with being a minority in America. And so I really hope to one day use my platform, just because I feel like I do have a voice, thankfully, wherever it is that I am, to support those people. So
You definitely have a voice. And I mean, I think your voice is expressed through your clothing in your Raito brand. Can you talk about how that business started?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was last year I actually had the amazing opportunity to talk about Raito on DNN. But kind of looping back to that, some of the things that I had said just right off the bat was my sophomore year of college, I kind of had this idea. I was drawing all of these different things, and they were all just going up on my mom's fridge, and I really didn't have space anymore to put them there. So I went to Michael's one day and just kind of started scribbling on a shirt, and some of my friends were like, oh, that's really cool. Where did you get that? I was like, I actually made it. So I made some for them, and then as it continued to kind of build, I had another idea. I was like, you know what, I might as well just set up a little shop or something online. And I did my first order, I think about 24 shirts, and they all sold out in like the first week. And I was like, God, I'm kind of onto something. So from there, I built my own website, started talking to different producers and stuff like that, and now I'm running a completely online business.
That's awesome. And there'll definitely be something here if you want to check it out. I'll edit it right there. My final question here for you today, though, is this is something you mentioned when we first met.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that you're actually planning, and I think you're going to be the first person in your family to graduate from college. How does that feel like?
Yeah, right around the corner. It's a really momentous thing, I think, especially for my mom and I, because primarily I was raised, my two sisters and I, just by my mom. And it's always been a little harder, obviously, being a single parent. So I know she sacrificed so much for us. And that's kind of something I told her ever since I was a kid, is just like, this is what I'm gonna give back to you. That's my first thing. Second one is buying her a house, but that's a little down the line.
A little bit, but
it's amazing to think how far I've come.
yeah, I think that's a great note to end it on. I mean, moms are the MVPs. We can't do anything without moms.
Absolutely.
So thank you to my mom, thank you to Glenn's mom, thank you to all the moms out there watching. With that being said, that's all the time we have here today. Thank you so much to Glenn, an awesome guest.
Thank you.
Happy to have you on, and have a fantastic rest of your day.